All right, here we are, Totally Driven Radio. And it's that time to welcome back an old friend of the show's, comedian, master of prank calls, the host of VH1 Classics, That Metal Show, the one, the only, Mr. Jim Florentine. Jim, welcome back to Totally Driven Radio.
How you doing, man?
Good, man, good. What's been happening?
Just plugging away, doing gigs, same stuff.
Same stuff. Well, it's kind of funny that I hear from you today because earlier this afternoon I was thinking of you and the rest of the guys from the show because new Jake E. Lee music has hit the web. So I was thinking of you guys right away with the Jake E. Lee interview from last season's That Metal Show.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to hear it. How does it sound?
You know what? As I was waiting for you, I've been listening to it over and over and over. Initially, I wasn't getting into it, but I've given it like 5 or 6 listens now, and it's starting to grow on me.
Okay.
It's got a more modern sound to it. Doesn't sound nothing like old classic Ozzy or nothing like Badlands, but I'll give him a chance.
I know he's been working on that for a long time and all that. So, I heard they were just releasing some stuff today. So, look, the guy's been on action for like 20 years, so I'm not expecting to bark at the Room record.
Right. Well, I guess you guys got a big announcement since I was contacted and it was like, can you get Jim on in 2 hours? So, is it a big That Metal Show announcement?
What do you mean?
I don't know. That's what I was told. It was. Can you talk to Jim this afternoon? And here you are. So I'm hoping it's something big, something good, something juicy.
I don't know. We made an announcement. They made an announcement last week that the show is coming back, and it's come back, and we're going to tape in New York. I don't know if that's what you're talking about.
Oh, okay. So
but January 18th is a new season. We're going to come back to New York City and tape episodes here. Back in New York where we originally started.
Very nice.
But other than that, we're doing it every Saturday. It's going to be on. We tape on like Tuesdays. They're going to air Saturday for January 18th to April. I think 12 episodes in a row, 12 weeks in a row. So other than that, there's no other that I know of. There's no other announcements. Nobody's booked for the show or anything like that. They just confirmed everything that we're going to be doing in New York.
Gotcha. So, as we're going to be coming up on the new season, like you said, taping in January, is there anybody you'd like to see that you guys would have on this season?
I'd love to see, the guys that we haven't had on yet, Eddie Van Halen, Alex, David Lee Roth, Paige Plant,
nice,
Steven Tyler, the guys from Kiss, Gene Simmons, Paul Stanley. Those are the huge guys. And Hetfield. I'd say the big guys that haven't done the show yet. I'd love to, one of those guys to come on. I don't know if it'll happen.
Hey, I'm going to throw a name out there because he's a friend of the show, and I know there's like a Facebook page or group on to try to get him on the show. How about, especially now that he's going back to his old band, how about Tony Harnell?
Yeah, absolutely. I see Tony around a lot, especially when Michael Sweet's around, Striper, and all that stuff. No, he'd be great to definitely have on the show.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That would definitely be cool. That would definitely be cool.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll get booked on the show at some point. It all depends on when people are available in town, have something to promote. A lot of times that's what needs to be done.
Right.
So it all depends on their schedules. So, a band like, I don't know, just throw out their Rat, we might want them on. They go, well, we don't have a record coming out till July. Can we come on then? And we're like, we're not taping in July. Right. So then they're like, well, we're doing the studio, so we're not going to do anything.
Gotcha. Very good. What was the reason behind coming back to New York to tape?
I don't know. VH1's based out of New York, and they just decided let's bring it back here. They don't really let us in on those decisions.
Right.
We started out in L.A. in New York, went to L.A. and now we're back. I don't care if we do it in someone's basement in Jersey, as long as we're doing the show.
They just gave you guys like a whole new set this past season too. So I guess you guys are getting a whole new set again, or they'll just move that one from L.A. out to here.
Yeah, I don't know. We never know until we walk on the set that day, the first day, of what they did to it. We don't. They don't. Those are other decisions up top that are made.
Gotcha.
We can suggest like, no, this person, or try to throw some stuff out there more metal-wise, but and they're pretty good with that stuff. When we say, hey, this guy could be on the whole episode, we don't need anybody else. They'll listen to us on that. But when it comes to dressing up the set, what the set's going to look like, where we're shooting it, we have no say in that. Which is fine. Look, they give us a lot of. Who knows? They could go, look, someone at VH1 Classic is. Someone's doing the VH1 morning show, say Kelly Clarkson. So we want to put her on that metal show, too, so she'll do 2 TV shows. Like, at least they don't pull that stuff.
Right.
Like, what are we going to do? I don't know. Maybe she knows an AC/DC song. Talk about that.
Well, early on in her career, she was wearing an Aerosmith shirt for a while there. She was trying to show some rock roots.
She got it at, like, one of those, 80s thrift stores or whatever. For $125.
Right.
Well,
or she bought it off eBay for $120.
I guess in the last Aerosmith record, she did a duet with Tyler.
Oh, really?
Yeah, one of those. I think it was her. But look, they're pretty. They're pretty lenient on what we could do about guests and stuff. They don't push that stuff on us, so I don't care what's on the set.
Yeah,
I do it or any of that stuff.
It might even be a pretty cool thing to do it out of somebody's basement. That would give you like that real old school feel to going back to like teenage metal years from the 80s. Yeah,
they like it to look kind of professional, even though it's not HD.
Right.
And we look all stretched out. It's blurry to the screen and stuff like that. But other than that, they like it, because we always want to do it on the road at in concerts, almost like the NFL today does. Before a big game, they got a desk right out in the parking lot. Fans are going crazy. We always wanted to do that kind of thing, but they like it in the studio for some reason.
Now you got a Christmas party coming up next month, December 14th at Dingbats with Don and Eddie. That Metal Show Christmas party. Now, what's that going to be?
We just hang out and hang out with people and watch the bands and introduce them and just go up on stage, say hey, and do some trivia, and then we just hang out and take pictures with people, talk with them and stuff, drink shots, drink beers.
Nice.
So it's just very something. Yeah, so it's basically just a hang with us.
Any special bands playing, or just local Jersey bands, New York bands? Or?
I think local Jersey bands are playing. Yeah, I don't know who's playing this year, but it's always fun. We just hang out and have a good time. And people talk. We just rap metal and take pictures with people and be idiots and drink shots of Jaeger.
Yeah, when you're drinking shots of Jaeger, eventually you become an idiot.
Exactly. Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Here's something I wanted to ask you, and I heard you talking about it on your Sirius XM show, Metal Midgets, and I was like, wow. I was like, man, he was one lucky son of a bitch. You were talking about you got to see Ozzy play back in the day with Randy Rhoads on guitar.
Yeah, 5 times I saw that show.
Really?
Yeah, I was lucky, man. I was like 15, 14, something like that, and I was living down in Florida at the time, and they played like 2 nights in a row at this place called the Sunrise Musical Theater that was like a mile from my house. Huh. And then the night before they played like an hour and a half north of Fort Lauderdale. So my brother was older, so we went the night before, and then the next 2 nights in a row. I took off the next day from school just to go down there and hang in the parking lot and wait for them to show up. So I was there, like I walked there. I walked to the show. It was a mile.
Wow.
And just hung out in the parking lot. And so all of them come out of cabs separately to do a sound check. I got pictures with them, talked with them, and stuff like that. And then I saw 2 more times up in New York when it came to New York. When I was back up in New Jersey, I moved back up. So I saw the Blizzard of Oz 5 times. I never saw Die for Madman. I was going to see it in like 3 days before the tragic plane crash.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you got to actually meet Randy then?
I met Randy a few times, yeah. Randy was, Ozzy did a lot, his band did a lot of record store signings. to get the word out there. So whenever they were in town, so in Miami and Fort Lauderdale, like 3 days in a row, they did record store signings in different record stores where, you know, there was one on every corner. And then back in New York, they did a bunch too. So I would go to every one too. So I got pictures with. I don't have an actual picture with Randy, but I have a picture of Randy behind a counter with his thumbs up and smiling for the picture. Like I couldn't get in the picture with him. I don't remember why.
Right.
You know, he was behind a counter. It was the whole band, but I got one separately of Randy with his thumbs up.
Oh, that's friggin' awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you know, I just meet him when I'm talking to him. You know, he was so small. He was like, you know, 5'4", 5'5", and maybe weighed 110 pounds.
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen this or not. An old friend of his and a friend of Kevin's that was like back from the early days of Quiet Riot, who was like their photographer, and he's the one that did like all the old Quiet Riot pictures and video and all. He put out late last year a documentary and an accompanying book with it of Randy Rhoads' The Quiet Riot Years, and it's just friggin' phenomenal. It's so good, and we actually had him on the show like back in January, and being able to talk to one of Randy's friends who was there from one of, you know, all through the old days was just incredible.
You know what? I got the book. I don't have the DVD. I didn't see the DVD, but there was 2 different Randy Rhoads books, picture books that came out in like the last year, and they sent them over to that metal show, so I took a couple of them. But yeah, I don't. But I never saw the DVD of that, The Quiet Riot Years.
You got to see the DVD. It's amazing. It's friggin' amazing. It literally, like, it's one of them stories, like, you watch a story, and you know how it's going to end, and it's still, at the end, brought me to tears. That's how moved I was. I was like, wow. Yeah. It's phenomenal.
I'll tell you, another great thing on Insight with Randy is Rudy Sarzo's book, Off the Rails.
Love it.
That's a great book because, you know, Rudy documented everything, you know, for tax purposes, actually, and wrote a diary of all the time. And just, you know, because he was really good. Randy's the one who got him the gig in Ozzy.
Right.
And it's a great book on just, you know, what Randy was really like. And Rudy said, I wrote it not to make money and not to do this or disparage anybody. He's like, look, everybody, wherever I go, they go, what was Randy like? What was Randy like?
Sure.
And he told me a story, those 2 nights that I saw them down in Florida, because Rudy grew up in Miami. And Rudy, so Rudy was telling me the night, that when they did the 2 nights in Fort Lauderdale that I saw back-to-back nights, the first night after the show, instead of hanging out and partying with the band and stuff like that, he met some guy backstage that said he was like, you know, he wanted to be a guitar player. Randy was his favorite, and he was was heavily influenced on him, and he was okay at guitar but not great. Can you give me any tips? Randy went back to that guy's house and gave him guitar lessons till like 4:00 in the morning.
Wow.
Yeah, that's where Rudy told me that he goes, I remember those nights. He goes, I remember exactly what happened. We all wanted to go down to Miami to like South and stuff like that and go party. And Randy met this guy. He's like, no, I'm gonna go back. And they're like, you're crazy. You can't do that. Well, you don't know this guy. He goes, no, he's cool. I'm just gonna go to play guitar with him. He wants to learn some new licks. He's a fan. So Randy went back to some strange guy's house instead of going down to like Miami and partying with the rest of the band.
That's friggin' amazing. Yeah, I got to meet Rudy actually a few weeks ago at the Chiller Theater Convention, and actually he's going to do the show in December. We got that booked, and I can't wait to talk to him.
Rudy, probably the nicest guy in the music business, without a doubt.
Yeah, he's super cool.
Just a great guy, man. Just, you know, a guy that, you know, just a good dude, and that's why he got, you know, so many opportunities to be in so many different bands, because he's not an ass. He's not a you know. He's not there around a lot of good energy around him, you know.
Yeah, and that's the funny thing too. Like thinking about Rudy Sarzo is like, really, what albums did he play on beside them, the Metal Health album and Condition Critical from Quiet Riot? I don't think there was really any other ones he played on, like studio albums with all the bands that he ended up playing in.
Well, he played on Speak of the Devil, the Ozzy live record that they did all the Sabbath songs.
Right.
That the Brad Gillis was on guitar there. He played on that one, and then he played on Whitesnake. One of the White was it the '87 record with all the hits, or was I know he definitely played on the one right after. What is that? Slip of the Tongue. He played on.
Right. Okay.
And he might have played on
all the hits he didn't play on.
What's that?
The one with all the hits he didn't play on.
Oh, maybe he didn't, because I think Coverdale and Sykes did that record. I don't know what bass player they used, but I know he played on Slip of the Tongue. He played on the one, and he might have played on one after that, the one that Whitesnake did after that, and he played on a couple Dio records, later Dio records too.
Oh, did he play on the Dio records?
I thought he might have played it because he was in Ronnie's band for a long time.
Right.
Maybe the last record he put out, whatever the last Dio record, studio record.
Huh. Yeah, I'll have to look into that.
Maybe I'm mistaken on that.
I'll have to check that out. I'll look into that.
Yeah, I might be mistaken on that. I'm not sure, but I know he was in Ronnie's band for like 5-6 years.
Oh, okay.
I know he played on a lot. He did the Dio live Holy Diver. He did that. I know Rudy played on that. And a lot of the Dio live stuff. I think he played on the last studio record Dio did.
And did he play on Jeff Tate's new record too, or was that somebody else playing bass?
Yeah, he did play on that record. Yep, he did play on it. I'll tell you, I saw that version of Jeff Tate's Queensryche with Rudy in the band and his brother Robert. Phenomenal. Right. They did Operation Mindcrime from beginning to end, and played a bunch of other songs. It's unbelievable. Jeff never sounded better. Brian Tishy on drums at the time, so I know they've gone through a bunch of different drummers, but phenomenal.
Yeah, I didn't get to see them when they came around here to Philly. I'll have to check them out next time they come around. Very interesting. Yeah, Rudy's the man.
Rudy's he's a great guy.
So, all right. So let me see. What do you got going on here? Let me look at your dates. Coming up this weekend, you're out in St. Louis at the Funny Bone.
Yeah.
On November 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. Next weekend, you're back down to Florida at Daytona Beach at Bonkers, November 29th and 30th.
Yep.
And then December 14th at Dingbats in Clifton, New Jersey for the Metal Show Christmas Party.
Yeah. And my podcast I do every week called Comedy Metal Midgets. It's up on iTunes or my website, JimFlorentine.com. I got Tim Ripper Owens on I interviewed this past week.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So you got that, and then you have your Sirius show. That's on, Thursdays at 5?
Yeah, Thursdays at 5, yeah.
Cool. Anything else you want to throw out there?
I don't think so. No, I guess not, no. The NFL, I'm a big NFL fan. I'm very disappointed in them.
Of who? The Giants?
No, just the league in general, just disgusting. The crying about the bully and the crying about the bully and the Redskin name, the breast cancer awareness for a month of pink crap. When you find out the NFL is only giving 8% of the money to breast cancer awareness, they're pocketing the rest. They're almost like the mob.
So wait. I missed all this. Are you serious?
Yeah. There's a Business Weekly came out with an article. They had a show where charities and stuff, where the money goes. The NFL winds up giving 8% of the money that's donated to breast cancer awareness and pockets the rest.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah. So why do you think it goes on for a month? That we got to deal with this pink crap. We get it. We know there's breast cancer out there. All right. Yeah, I'm aware. Now just find a cure.
Yeah. You know what? That stuff irks me to no end. Like, even like the Susan G. Komen, all this stuff. And this is something like I lost both of my parents to cancer at a young age. Like, my dad died when I was 4, my mom when I was 18. And
wow.
All this cancer stuff, like, how many organizations are out there that raise money for cancer? And I say to myself, you mean to tell me after all these years, all the billions and trillions of dollars of money they've raised, they still can't find a cure for this stuff? Like, really?
Well, what? I mean, look, I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist, but what's the advantage of them finding a cure?
Exactly. They can't make money.
For the doctors, for the insurance companies, for the pharmaceutical companies, for the pills, everything. There's no incentive. No. There really isn't. No. So then what happens? Say you find a cure for cancer, then what happens to these doctors and these scientists that are making $350,000 a year because we're donating all this money? Where do their jobs go? What do they do? Right. The pharmaceutical companies, they could care less about what's the side effects, the pills that they're making. What are they going to do when people don't have to take the pills and the chemo and the radiation and the Percocets and this and all that other 90 different pills they put you on for the side effects that they give, the other stuff they're giving you. But there's really no incentive. So, and then when you got the organization like the NFL saying how they can't, I mean, the only reason they do breast cancer awareness, besides them pocketing the money, which really they don't have enough money, TV money, everything else. They want women to watch the football game. In a nutshell, they don't want it to be a bunch of Neanderthals out there. So if women see pink stuff, oh, they do care. Look, see, they do care about breast cancer. That's why they do it for a whole month. They already got every guy watching the game. That's why they book all these Beyoncés at halftime and all this crap that no guy would ever watch because they want the women to watch. But meanwhile, women watch for like, oh, yeah, I want to see Beyonce. Yeah, I know a couple of her songs. And then she comes out there and she starts dancing in a skimpy outfit, and she just had a baby 2 months ago, and every woman in the room gets jealous. Oh, yeah, if I had her money, my body could look like that after 2 months after being pregnant. Yeah. How many trainers does she have? Yeah, of course. Yeah. So, and then they walk away because they're angry and they're jealous from the screen. So it really didn't help.
But you know what
I mean? They just tear her down. There's not one person, not one woman sitting there going, good for her that she looks amazing. No, it's all, if I had her money, if I can hire nannies, I can be in the gym 8 hours a day. And then they walk away and feel bad about themselves.
You know what, though? I think, like, over probably the last 10 years, though, fan-wise, the female fan base, and not just NFL, I think in all sports, has grown tremendously.
Well, they're gearing it toward. Well, the NFL is trying to get the women too, and that's why you have all these scandals. When you open it up to women and you open it up to nerds with fantasy football, now you want everybody to watch. So you're almost like an edgy comedian, like a George Carlin, like a Jim Norton, like a Doug Stanhope, someone like that, going, I want to go on at 8:00 on Tuesday and have a sitcom right before American Idol, and then everybody in America sees you when you do your awful jokes that you do, like your really edgy stuff, and people are like, oh, my God, this is terrible. Take this off the air. I'm offended. You don't put it to the masses when you're Neanderthals. You got your little niche. Hockey's got their little niche. You don't see a pink puck. You know what I mean? And that's why the guy a couple of weeks ago pulled his tooth out on the ice. You got a guy on the team that just goes out there to fight people and just beat the crap out of a guy. That's what you have in hockey. Guys are missing their teeth, and mostly guys watch it, and they make enough money where they go, why open this? Because if we do, and women start watching and everything else, then they're going to go, they shouldn't be beating each other up. They should sue. This is I don't want to watch two guys fighting, and then the NHL will take fighting away because women will be upset. So the NFL is in this position with bullying and all that crap because they wanted the nerds and they wanted the women to watch, and now they got it. Now you got The View talking about the Miami Dolphins locker room. There's no reason for that. Now, when it becomes a national story like that, they have to do something because it won't go away.
Now, what do you think of that whole Miami Dolphins situation?
I'm a Dolphin fan, too. It's a joke. It's a bunch of guys in a locker room, busting each other's balls. That's what guys do.
Yeah.
You're from Philly, right?
Yeah.
There's no more bigger ball busters than people from Philly. Nobody.
You're right.
When your good friend walks in the room and he's wearing a bad shirt, how long do you pick on him until you run out of jokes? That's how you hammer him, and it's in a loving way. That means you like him. That's a weird way of showing affection.
Yeah, it's funny.
And a bunch of big bunch of thugs and meatheads in a locker room trying to kill each other on the field and the other, and competing and all that stuff. When you're in a locker room, some guy walks in with Crocs on, you're going to get pounded. And it doesn't mean we're bullying you or whatever. If you can't take it, then get out of the locker room. You're going to wear Crocs, around a bunch of manly men, people are going to pick on you. That's just the way it is. Think about that before you. I better not wear these going in there because I have a feeling I'm going to get hammered.
Do you think Incognito will ever play again?
Yes, absolutely. Without a doubt. The Dolphins are going to release him in the next week or so, and someone's going to pick him up for the playoff run. He's a good guard. He is. He's just like any other player in the locker room. There comes out, there's a story. He had offensive line beatings in a strip club. Ooh, that's crazy. Oh, you kidding me? You mean guys in their mid-20s with millions of dollars living in Miami? Miami would go into a strip club, and you talk about guys going to a strip club? That's crazy.
Yeah,
There's no guys
how
on Wall Street. No guys on Wall Street, after a hard day on the floor, they don't go to a strip club to unwind and talk business. No, that never happens. Any kind of business, that never happens. But when you get women involved because they want them to watch the game, then the View is talking about this. They're on there going, what if they have wives at home and this bully's making the linemen go to a strip club and they really don't want to go and they're causing problems at home? Really, you think that's happening? You know what I mean?
Yeah. You're right.
The fantasy football, when you're making that really popular and getting the nerds to watch football now, the nerds are the ones who got bullied by the Richie Incognitos in high school. The meatheads that were on the football team are the ones who made fun of the nerds, pushed them into the locker, did whatever. So now the nerds are the journalists, and they're not going to let this go. This is their chance to get even. It reminds them when they were in high school. So that's why it's such a huge story.
Do you think, this is my personal opinion, I think if it wasn't for fantasy football, the NFL wouldn't be as big as it is now.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely, it is. But you know what? Before fantasy football, it was still vibrant. It still made a lot of money and everything else. I hate fantasy football, but if people want to play it and that makes them watch the game, that's fine. I got no problem with it. But when you open it up to that market and you open up to women because you want women to watch football, and now you have to be sensitive on every issue, it's going to be a problem. You're going to start eventually the hardcore fans are going to start leaving and watching some other sport.
Yeah, you're right.
The only thing they're doing right on trying to change the game is the head injuries, the concussions. You see what's going on. The NFL's tried to deny it for years, and now they got no choice. It's out in the open. They can't deny it anymore. So when you got to protect guys' heads, and when there's concussions, the guy's got to come out of the game, and you can't hit guys in the head. All that's perfectly fine. I got no problem with that. That needs to be taken care of. But the other stuff is just a joke.
Yeah, I mean, some of these guys, like, as a matter of fact, old Chicago Bears and Philadelphia Eagles quarterback Jim McMahon, I was trying to get him to do our show, and he responded, and he was like, yeah, of course, I would love to do it. And then talking with his PR person, she's like, look, he can't do it. He just can't do it because he don't know, like, if he's going to be with it or without it in the middle of the interview. You don't know what can happen.
Yeah, because I know I saw a story on him. His wife's got to leave notes in his wallet of where he lives and everything.
Right. And
his phone number and who he is and stuff in case he's out driving or whatever and he doesn't know how to get home and all that. That's horrific.
Yeah, exactly.
It really is. But back to the breast cancer thing. So what the NFL does is Peyton Manning will wear a pink towel during the game. Right. And they'll auction that off that night on NFL.com that he wore that during the game. So the NFL, right off the bat, anything they sell on NFL.com, they take 25% right off the top, whatever it sells for. If it sells for $5,000, they take 25% of that. And then whoever the seller is, the retailer gets 50% off the top. So, and the NFL is selling this stuff, so now they're getting 75% off the top because they're actually selling all the stuff. And then the person who made the towels gets a little piece, and then they give the rest to breast cancer awareness.
It's amazing.
I know.
What a
scam. I know it's such a scam, especially when it's a $10 billion a year business. Every owner is pretty much a billionaire, and you're just because you want women to watch the game and pretend like you care, and you have pink stuff for a month, which is ridiculous. And these guys look like idiots. Imagine like 50 years from now when they're showing highlights of like Adrian Peterson's year last year, and the guy's wearing pink shoes.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like 50 years from now, like what the hell was that? Why is the guy wearing pink?
And with the pink jerseys too that they sell, I mean, it's like when they started doing like the alternate jersey. That you always had the home and away jersey, and then they added the alternate jersey, and now it's like they have a fourth jersey now that they can just sell being the pink jersey and make more money.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and nobody buys those throwback old jerseys. Whatever the Steelers wore this past week, nobody's buying that jersey from like 1910. Yeah,
the Bumblebee one.
Yeah, and they only wear that just so they can make extra sales on their website. It's unbelievable. How much money do you need? When is enough? Yeah. What are you going to sell? Just say, what are you going to sell? 2,000 more jerseys at $100? So it's another $20,000 you're going to put in your pocket. Really, you need that?
Well, I mean, if you think about it that way, you could actually relate that whole scenario over to Kiss and Gene Simmons.
Yeah, you're true. It's true. I mean, he pretty much sells anything. But, you're right. People have an option if they want to buy it or not. But, I mean, it's at some point. Come on. But the NFL, at least Gene's honest about it. Says, I want all the money. Yeah, I'm selling this. Why not? If people are going to buy it. The NFL just hides. This story comes out about they only give it 8%. They don't say nothing because they know they got busted. All of this stuff. The PSLs and, their investment. If you buy, it costs you $20,000, you own your own seat. Oh, wow, great. So when Kenny Chesney plays at the new Eagle Stadium, I can go see Kenny Chesney because I own that seat? No. I go, but I pay $20,000 for it. Well, you only own it for the 8 regular season and 2 preseason games when nobody plays. Oh, yeah, that's a great investment. Thanks.
I'll tell you what, I'm sure you've probably got to experience this where whatever stadium you go to, they have, now they have the luxury suites that are all like the big business-owned corporate suites.
Yeah.
Well, a friend of mine took me to one that was a local radio station here, to their luxury suite box. And you're walking through the Eagles Stadium, and it's pretty like just concrete and steel girders. It's a very boring blah stadium. And all of a sudden, like you go into this little like a hallway, and it's all glass enclosed, and there's just an elevator. And you get in the elevator and you go up, and the elevator opens, and now it's like you've gone into the pearly gates. And It's like a giant lobby, and people are all like executives all hanging out, and there's bars all over, and then you go up an escalator now to get to your luxury box, and you walk in there, and it's all heated, and they have a spread of food that you eat for free. You got your own private bathroom, and they got a huge refrigerator completely stocked with like 4 different kinds of beers, sodas, water. I mean, and everything was free. And I was like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, I didn't even watch the game because I was so busy eating and drinking beer all night and bullshitting. Like, you can't even think about a game.
Well, I know. Well, I mean, that's why they're driving the real fans out by doing stuff like that and making things so expensive that you can't bring your kids to the game. And/or now, they got the red zone plays like the whole time in Jacksonville Stadium now on the scoreboard.
Oh, really?
And everything's wired, so you can go online and you can look at your fantasy football stats while the game's going on. So they're distracting everything. They're making so many distractions for you not to cheer for the product that's on the field. They just want to get asses in the seats, and they don't care that they're ruining it by putting the red zone up and wiring the place where you can get on the internet and check out and watch other games on your phone and all that. I mean, eventually it's going to point to like, why go to the stadium anymore?
I'll tell you what, that red zone too. People this past year, I don't have it, but a lot of people and friends that have it, they've been telling me like it's the greatest thing for an NFL fan.
It is unbelievable. There's no commercials from 1:00 in the afternoon till the last game at 7:00 or 7:30 it ends, whatever. So 6.5 hours of just pure football. It's phenomenal.
Wow.
Yeah, they just go back and forth games. Like I'll watch my game, whatever game I want to watch. But if like the Dolphins aren't playing at 4:00, I'll just watch the red zone from 4 to 7:30 for the 4 o'clock games, and they just go back and forth. When I think good's happening, they switch over to this game. They put a split screen. If 2 things are happening at the same time, it's great.
Yeah, that's all I keep hearing is how phenomenal it is, and you don't even have to watch the full game anymore. You just watch the red zone, and you're bouncing back and forth between all the games.
Yeah, look, I'm sure you're a huge Eagles fan, being from Philly, so you want to watch the Eagles. You know, if the Eagles are on at 1:00, you're not watching the red zone, but you'll watch it when the Eagles aren't playing. The fantasy football dorks will probably watch it all day.
All right, so what else you want to talk about? What else you want to throw out there?
I don't know. I think that's I might be out. I might be out of stuff right now.
You busted your nut on the NFL?
Well, yeah, the Redskin name is another joke. See, it's funny how that's kind of slowly went away because now you got the bullying thing that took over, so now the heat's off the Redskins for now.
Right.
Which is good because that's another whole joke. After 83 years, it's finally names all of a sudden offensive. They did a study 10 years ago on Native Americans, and 90% of them said the Redskin name wasn't offensive. That was 10 years ago. I get it. They haven't done a survey since, but 90% said 10 years ago. So I don't know what's changed over in 10 years.
This country's becoming more uptight as time goes on. I thought it was supposed to be
It's
like
unbelievable.
the other way.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's just like the thing with the Redskins is we don't use that as a racial slur. If all of a sudden you think it's a racial slur, we only use the Redskin name as a reference to the Washington Redskins. We don't call Native American people Redskins. No one uses that. We just use it to reference that football team. It's the same thing when you want to, talk about Satchel Paige, that old black baseball player. He pitched in the Negro League. We don't say Negro anymore, but when we reference that league, we say the Negro League. We don't say the African American League.
Right.
Where you reference that, and if you can use that as a reference, you're allowed to say Negro League. Okay, so then the Redskins, we don't use that as a slur. We only use Redskins as when we say the Washington Redskins. If I get in a car accident, I come home and I start bitching to my wife, like, yeah, some Indian hit me in the back, man, who wasn't paying attention. My wife's like, oh, what was he from, like Pakistan or something? I go, no, I'll either go, no, a Native American Indian, or I'll go, no, one of those guys that, the ones that own the casinos. That's what I say. I either say Native Americans or no, those idiots that own the casinos. That's what I say. I never say Redskins. It never enters in.
Yeah. I don't get it either. Like, I don't understand how all of a sudden, and it seems like the people that are more offended by it are the ones that aren't even Indians.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's all white liberal America that's offended. I feel bad. I feel bad. Really, you feel bad? Yeah, we did enough to American Indians. If it's offensive, then change the name. Okay, if you feel that bad about American Indians, that that's a racial slur, and you feel bad that they took enough, then give them back their land. If you're living on a piece of their land that we stole, give them the keys to your house. We'll see how many people do that. Do you feel bad now? Oh, I can't do that. Oh, so when it personally affects you, you're not going to do that. You'll throw them a little bone with the Redskin name, but God forbid. Hey, what about your land on the Jersey Shore on the beach? That land was stolen. Give them the keys. So you don't feel like that. Poll any Native American. Ask them, hey, would you rather the Redskin name, or you want a place on Long Beach Island right on the beach? I wonder what they would take.
They're taking the beach, and they ain't giving it up.
It's all just fake outrage.
Yep.
I deal with it at comedy clubs all the time. You crack a black joke, the white people are uptight, the black people laugh, but the white people are afraid to laugh because they think that, the black person's going to get upset. Meanwhile, the black person laughs. It's the whole thing. They're all just like, I can't believe you said that. Yeah, well, I said it.
Well, how about, that's funny because I was thinking, like, the other day, Michael Richards from Seinfeld, Kramer, he had that outburst a few years ago, and he's basically been, like, nowhere ever since. You haven't heard nothing. And now I keep seeing he's going to be in the new Kirstie Alley show. I was, like, kind of shocked. Like, out of nowhere, he's going to be back on TV.
Well, yeah, you got to lay low, because now in comedy clubs you can't even, attack a heckler. God forbid, even in a comedy club where that used to be sacred, you could say whatever you want on stage. You got to be a big boy to show up to the club, in a comedy club, and whatever's said is said. If you don't like it, you can walk out. Right. That's no problem. But so now people are getting offended, videotaping audio, and then they send it out to the press, and then comedians are issuing apologies. Now I know I go through it too. People get offended. I talk about the Redskin name on stage. It's offensive. People yelling at it. It is offensive. Whatever. So people, everybody's. It's a joke. What's going on? It really is. But Jim Norton made a great point. He goes, we're all just actors right now. All we're doing is acting because nobody's acting like themselves. So we're just pretending we're offended. We're pretending, yeah, you're right, that's right. Yeah, Paula Dean, yeah, she's a jerk. And this one's, yeah, he's a jerk. And Alec Baldwin, how could he say the F word? And, yeah, that's terrible. He's like, we're all just acting because we're just trying to cover our asses.
Yeah, because behind their own closed doors, they're probably doing worse. Yeah,
exactly. The people that are saying Paula Dean said, the N-word one time in a life, are they the same people when they're walking out of Home Depot and they see some young black kids walking behind them that look like thugs? You think they rush to their car and clutch their purse, and as soon as they get in the car, they lock the doors? Don't do it. Then that's just as racist as what Paula Dean did. You're judging those black kids, thinking that they're gonna mug you because that's what you have in your head. Why are you hurrying into your car and locking the doors? Then that's it. Why don't you go drive through the bad neighborhood? That's racist. If you think they're gonna attack your car and carjack you, that's racist.
Drive through the bad neighborhoods with a redskin.
Yeah, and why don't you buy a house in the bad neighborhood? Why?
Right.
They're just people. That's how you think they are when you're talking in your politically correct, little world. So why don't you live in that neighborhood then? So what are you afraid of?
Hey, here's something I want to get your opinion on, since you're being very open and opinionated. How about Jesse Ventura wanting to run for president and have Howard Stern as his vice president?
They probably do a great job. I think they would.
I do too.
This two-party system needs to be broken up. Nothing's happening. There's no George Bush and Obama are the same person. They're the same exact person. It is.
Yeah, it's scary.
George Bush being the most, super conservative, Mr. This, whatever. The rich people get all the money. We're gonna, start wars and do all this stuff. And then Obama comes in completely opposite. You go, okay, so maybe there's going to be some changes. And the guy's still, Iraq's done now, but they saw some troops over there. Afghanistan's still going on. He wanted to start a war with Syria. I mean, it's a joke. We're dropping drones. We're killing innocent people with these drones. We're dropping bombs on, houses in Pakistan because we thought there was a Al-Qaeda member in there that lived in a hut in Pakistan. Like, how's he going to hurt us here? That guy there. He doesn't even have a friggin' phone. He doesn't have the internet. And then you're killing innocent kids, and we just looked up. Sorry. We didn't know. We thought there was a guy in there. So all of that stuff going on. And that's the same stuff Bush did.
Yeah.
And you all thought, Obama said, I'm going to stop both wars. Guantanamo Bay's gone. All this stuff. We're not spying on people anymore. That's unconstitutional. The Patriot Act, we're getting rid of that. We're going to do hard work and do investigative work. We're not going to. And now the spying thing is out of control. It's worse. Obama, even passed more laws without anyone knowing to even open it up more, where you could spy on everybody. They're spying on world leaders, people what they try. It's a joke. It's the same person in there.
It's crazy. I think it might even be worse. And on top of it, with this whole Obamacare thing, people are just so disgusted with this country anymore.
Yeah, I mean, look, and the Syria thing, it's like, okay, it's been a civil war over there for 3 years. 100,000 people have gotten killed in that war. You had no problem with that, but as soon as a nuclear weapon goes off or whatever, to use some gas, where supposedly 1,200 died. I heard it was more like that 300. Now you have a problem. So you didn't care about the 100,000 that died in the Civil War just because they shot a weapon over there. Then all of a sudden you have a problem.
It's crazy. Absolutely
What I
crazy.
mean? Like that. So now you want to bomb the place. And he was going to do it without the UN. What do we have the UN for? You're supposed to, you're supposed to vote on it. He's still going to go around it and Congress. Even if Congress voted it down, he's still going around them. He's going to go around the UN and he's going to bomb Syria.
It's amazing. It really is.
It's unbelievable. So there's no reason to be in the UN. There's no reason to have that.
Nope.
So
Wow.
it's all who knows. Yeah. So getting back to that, Jesse and Howard Stern, I think would do a good job because they would, hopefully cut through the red tape and not, worry about special interest groups and everything else and try to get actually some work.
Do you think Howard's going to say yes to Jesse and go for it?
No.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Nah, he won't. He doesn't. He won't. He doesn't. The reason he didn't do it back in the day with the governor is he didn't want to announce how much money, show how much money he actually has and makes. Right. So he wouldn't do it. He's older now. He's not going to do that. It's good in theory, but Jesse should run. Jesse's got some good ideas. He's a little crazy with the whole 9/11 being an inside job. That's a little nuts, but I mean he's got some good ideas.
You think he's nuts? I think it was an inside job. That's how nuts I guess I am.
All right. Well, let's. If someone had to wire that building with explosives, right?
Right.
Okay. So now that had to probably go on for a couple months to get that whole building down. First of all, if you watch the documentary on the World Trade Center, that's the way the building was. If it ever fell in a hurricane or earthquake or whatever like that, it was going to crumble straight down because they didn't want it falling over and knocking over 9 other buildings. So that's the way they built it, for it to crumble just like that, like an implosion. That's the only way it got approved, because they didn't want to wipe out 6 blocks in New York City if it tipped over or if it, by an earthquake or whatever. So that's the way to build it. If they had to wire that thing with explosive, it would have to take at least probably, let's conservative, a month of people working around the clock to put explosives in there for a plane to go in and for it to crumble down. Now, where are these people that wired the building? What about the people that work there? What about the janitors that worked at nights that saw these guys in there, walking around, putting stuff up? No one said anything? What about the guys that put the explosions in? At one point, isn't one of those guys going to be drinking at a bar one night on a Friday night with his buddies and being hammered and going, I helped wire the World Trade Center and put it down. I did it. I got to admit it.
Unless everybody got stuck inside, unfortunately, and went down with the ship.
What? Who?
the people that knew the inside secrets.
Why would they be inside if they knew it and they knew when it was coming and when they were going to do it? Why would they be inside? Why would they do that to themselves? Why would they risk basically suicide?
Maybe they didn't know when it was coming.
Okay, so it happened at like 10 to 9 in the morning on a Monday or a Tuesday when people were walking to work. Didn't you think the people that worked in the World Trade Center, like, who are those guys walking around with all these, utility belt on and putting wires up and hanging out all over the place? Don't you think they would do that like in the middle of the night when hardly anyone was in the building? And if they did it then, don't you think that how many people have to clean that building every day? All the janitors and people, washing windows in the bathrooms. You don't think somebody after 11 or 13 years, or whatever it's been, would have said, hey, I saw these strange guys walking around and wiring the place and coming in with rolls of wire and all this stuff, and they were in the ceilings.
Now you're busting my whole groove up. You realize that, right?
Right, but don't you think that would have happened? And what about on the plane? So we were in on it with the terrorists, with Muhammad Atta and his 19 other guys. We told them. Don't you think? But now Bin Laden already said he was behind this and he planned it. So don't you think Bin Laden would call the America out and say, look, we know America went to Muhammad Atta and his 19 guys and said, you do this, you did this, you did this, or whatever. Don't you think? Why wouldn't they rat on us? That would be the worst thing. That would be 10 times worse than what just happened, that we were in on it.
All right. I guess I got to give it to you. I mean, you're proving it. I guess. I don't know. I guess maybe.
But why would we do that? For oil over in Iraq? But we didn't even go into Iraq till like 2 years later, and we didn't get any oil from there because our gas is $4 a gallon or $3.50. Even when Bush was in office when he started the war. It wasn't 99. It didn't go down to 99 cents because that's all Americans care about. That's why Bush won the second. If you can get cheap gas and your gas is $1.39 a gallon and you got some extra bucks to put in your pocket and buy an iPad, they don't give a crap what else you do if you're president. And that didn't happen when Bush went in there. They lied about the weapons of mass destruction. Maybe they thought they were there. I'm sure Saddam put them over in Syria. I'm sure he definitely had them at one point. We sold it to him in the 80s when he fought Iran. So he didn't just dismantle them himself. He wasn't a good guy. But, they went somewhere, but they never found them, and they weren't there. They didn't have proof that they were there. They just thought they have to be there because we sold it to him. There's no way he would have dismantled them, and he won't let us in, so that means he's doing something wrong. So Saddam called their bluff. It's like, there's no way they're going to start a war with us, and they did.
Yeah. And the whole thing with gas, too, it's funny because gas has actually been getting cheaper over the last couple months. It's been going down. It's been in the low threes. Like in my area, it's been like $3.19, $3.21 for like the last 3 months. So it's been dealable. It's not. All right.
Yeah, but it used to be. 10, 15 years ago, it was like $1.49, and now we just accepted that it's over $3. We're happy if it's like $3.20.
They just announced. They just announced, actually this morning on the news here in Philly, for all of the state of Pennsylvania, they upped the gasoline tax. So they're going to be tacking on like an extra, I think it was like 35, 45 cents now a gallon.
Really?
Yeah, that they need to put towards fixing the roads and bridges, which they've let deteriorate.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Sure, yeah, I know. Yeah, where did that money go to? All the tolls and everything else, and all that, the property tax and the income tax and everything else.
Maybe they were buying pink NFL jerseys.
Well, yeah. They should do the NFL model and say, look, we're doing breast cancer awareness and fix the roads and pocket all the money.
Exactly.
Maybe we should have pink roads.
Pink roads, and they can just keep 92% and donate the 8% to the Breast Cancer Foundation. Yeah,
exactly. And the rest, we'll just... Yeah, what are you going to do? You know what? You can't change the world. Who knows? But the NFL is just a bunch of shysters. I'm not happy with them. But you know what's good? Jim Norton made a great point. He's like, you know what? They kowtow to every special interest group on everything. If there's a gay player, he's going to be allowed to play. And then, whatever. Okay, fine, whatever. So he's like, you know what? Change the Redskin name. That if you're going to do that, don't just turn your back on Native Americans. Just if you're going to cry and say, I can't. Look what happened with the Janet Jackson thing. Look at how that changed everything. Where the NFL was afraid to have any risque acts after that, and then also it changed radio. Howard Stern got thrown off of radio because of what Janet Jackson did.
Right.
And all these chasing and stuff, So if you're going to be a bunch of babies and just come out and say, no, we're not going to change it. I'm sorry. Well, it's Daniel Snyder's decision. It's his business. He owns that business. It's his decision. Instead of going,
right.
Well, listen to you. Well, meetings. Fuck. No, you don't have to have meetings. It's Daniel Snyder's business. If it's affecting his business, he'll change it. No Redskin fan wants that name changed, and it's not going to affect ticket sales whatsoever. Every Redskin fan is still going to be a Redskin fan with that name.
Yep. Hey, speaking of, we touched on Kiss a little bit. How about them finally possibly going into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
I think they will go in because it's going to cause a lot of drama. And the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame loves drama because then people are talking about it. Like the whole thing with Guns N' Roses a couple of years ago was Axl going to show up. So it's good for business. And this whole Kiss thing, because Gene Simmons already came out and said that Ace and Peter Criss are definitely not going to play even a song if they get inducted. They're basically, so and Ace Frehley's already saying, I'm going. Gene can't stop me. So I think that's the drama that will build up. Because if they get inducted, then all of a sudden for the next 4 months, it's like, hey, everywhere, Gene, you're going to let those guys play? You're going to let the old guys play in the band? Come on, you're not going to let them play one song? Everybody's going to be talking about it. That'll be national news. So it's good for business. So Kiss will definitely get in this year.
So, and what would they? I mean, if you think about it, though, what would they do? Would they have Ace in his makeup and Tommy Thayer in Ace's makeup?
Yeah.
you know.
And they got Peter, drummer, whoever it is. I forget what his name is.
Eric Singer.
Eric Singer and Ace in Peter's makeup. Yeah. So, and that's what they want to do is the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They want to do that. They don't. Every other band pretty much brings out all the old members. The Chili Peppers. I was there a couple of years ago when Guns got in. And the Chili Peppers brought in all the old guys that played and this and that. And that's what you do. You bring in, even if a guy played on 2 records.
Right.
You bring him out, let him just stand there or whatever, play a song.
Were you there at Eddie Trunk's birthday party recently with when Peter and Ace got up and played?
Yeah.
How was that? I mean, from what I saw, it sounded awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It definitely was to see those guys on stage again.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Definitely. Yeah.
Cool. Anything else? Let me see. You got anything else you want to rant about?
No, I think I'm out for now.
You're out for now?
That's what my podcasts are about. Is usually a rant about something. So, I got a lot off my chest, which is good. Good. You
sound relieved now.
Yeah. Next time I'm gonna my next rant will be about dumb Facebook posts.
We got to book that one because I can't wait to hear that one.
Yeah, I'm working. That's gonna be my next podcast next week. Is that dumb Facebook?
Really?
I'm just throw and look at people's pages and write everyone down and just decipher it and just go, why would you write this? What? How much attention do you need? Nobody cares what you just wrote. This is nonsense. This is drivel.
When is your podcast on?
I used to do a new podcast every Monday. It's called Comedy Metal Midgets. And it's up on iTunes. It's free. It's on, Stitcher Radio. You can just get it on my website, JimFlorentine.com.
Okay.
So it's up there, and they're all up there to listen to, and you just download them and listen to them for free. So.
Cool. All right. So every Monday, you got the new Comedy Metal Midgets with Jim Florentine.
Yeah.
You can go to iTunes and check that out, or onto his website. And then Thursdays on Sirius, they got the Metal Midgets at 5 o'clock on which one are you on? You on the Boneyard?
Ozzy's Boneyard, yeah.
Yeah, Ozzy's Boneyard. And we got a bunch of comedy shows coming up. We got this weekend in St. Louis, Missouri at the Funny Bone, November 22nd, 23rd, 24th. We got next weekend Daytona Beach, November 29th and 30th at Bonkers. And then December 14th, Dingbats, That Metal Show Christmas Party with your co-host Don Jameson and Eddie Trunk. And then, actually, you'll be in this area, close to me, next year.
Yeah,
March.
At the end of February, right, or something, or March 1st?
March 1st in Phoenixville, yeah.
Yeah, what's the place called again? Something.
The Colonial Theater.
Colonial Theater. Yeah, I'm looking forward.
That's, I think, where the Blob was done, wasn't it?
So I know in that town. Yeah.
I think that's the theater.
Oh, that's it. Really? That's the theater. Oh, awesome.
I think so. That because every year for the anniversary of the Blob, they show the Blob, and then they have everybody running out. It's like the big thing. They show it on the news every year. All the people running down the street.
I love the Blob. That was a great movie.
I'm pretty sure that's the theater, though.
Okay, cool.
Cool. And then starting January, they start taping for the new season of That Metal Show.
Yeah, January 18th we'll start the new season. You know, new episodes, and there'll be 12 in a row starting January 18th every Saturday night on VH1 Classic.
Cool. Hey, how can I get tickets to come up for a taping? I want to come up to one.
They're not available yet, but you know what? You talk to Meredith, my publicist. Yeah, she'll hook it up because she'll have a hookup with it. She'll get a guest list and all that. So just hit her up probably in about 2 weeks. They'll start releasing, tickets and stuff like that. So she'll get them for you, no problem. So come up for a tape.
Sounds good. Jim, this has been a lot of fun. I want to thank you. I want to give you a quick laugh too, because last time you were on, you cut an ID for us, and it's one of my favorite ones because you kept screwing up. Do you want to get a chuckle and hear yourself?
Yeah.
Here you go.
Hey, this is Jim Florentine from That Metal Show, and you're listening to Total. Wait, let me do it again. We're live, so.
Yeah.
Hey, this is Jim Florentine from That Metal Show, and we're listening to Totally
Driven.
That one up again. Hey, this is Jim Florentine from That Metal Show, and you are listening to Totally Driven Radio. Nice.
There you go.
yeah. So I don't take direction well. You could ask my wife about that.
All right, man. Well, thanks a lot for doing this. This is a lot of fun. Good luck with everything.
Thanks for having me up. Absolutely, yeah.
And hey, happy holidays to you, and hopefully I'll see you in January with some tapings for That Metal Show.
Yeah, definitely. Let's hit Meredith up, and come up and say hello afterwards. We're always hanging and stuff. So.
Cool. I appreciate it.
All right, man. No problem.
Thanks, man. Take care.
All right, see you.
See ya. All right, everybody, there he is, Jim Florentine. Legendary comedian, the master of prank phone calls, and one of the hosts of VH1 Classics, That Metal Show. Check him out at JimFlorentine.com for all his upcoming tour dates. You can hear his podcast every Monday. You can get it off his website or on iTunes. And also Thursdays on Sirius XM on Ozzy's Boneyard at 5 o'clock. You can hear his show where he plays a lot of good music. And then That Metal Show, or go see him live doing stand-up. All right, everybody, we're going to take a commercial break, and we'll be back. Thanks.